for someone else? Or is your sight suddenly all on you? Your whole focus changes to yourself. If that is the case, your eyesight is bad. You've got an evil eye. Solomon said, he said, again I saw something meaningless under the sun. There was a man all alone. He had neither son nor brother. There was no end to his toil. Yet his eyes were not content with his wealth. For who am I toiling, he asked, and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment? This too is meaningless, a miserable business. A miserable life. He was never content with his wealth. This man lived to acquire. It was all about him. He did not care about having a friend or caring for a brother. Life was all about himself. When things got bad, all he looked out for was himself. And he came to the conclusion that it's a miserable business. Have you come into that place where sometimes you feel, why do I exist? Why do I feel miserable? Why do I have everything but still I don't feel happy at the end of the day? Solomon says this. He says it's meaningless and a miserable business. For what am I toiling? Why do I work hard? Why do I earn money? Why do I get rich? I just put it in the bank, buy stuff, and after a while I lose interest in the stuff. For a while I'm happy with my new car, but then 1 year later I lose interest. It bores me to drive it. And then I'm looking at the someone else's car and say, oh, I want to have that one now. They say in Japan, every 6 months to a year, they change their cars. They get bored so fast with their cars. Sometimes you get bored with your cell phone. Just recently, I got a new cell phone. It was a Motorola Razr. It was given to me free with the plan I had. And when I first got it, I was very excited with it. Wow, it was nice. Slim and lots of features, camera and the full works. 2 days later, I thought, it doesn't interest me anymore. Have you felt like that? You buy something new and then a few days later, you want something new again to excite you. You buy a car, you buy something, clothes. Next week, you got to go and buy a new set of clothes to make you happy again. We always have to acquire to have happiness. And we feel that true meaning in life is all in the acquiring. Next, Jesus says, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Here Jesus talks about the master. Is it money or God? Which one? You have to make a choice. What is your choice in life? You might say, but Pastor Jason, I am a Christian. I've been a Christian for so long. But how do you live your life? In the way you live your life, what does it demonstrate? What does it show? Who is your master? You see, God is not interested in our mere words. He wants to see how we live our life. And in our life, the way we live, what do we say to God? Do we say that He is the master or money is the master? Am I preaching over your heads tonight, or are you getting this stuff? Amen? Who is your master? Is it money or God? Which are you devoted and dedicated to? That's the big question. Which do we obey? Which has more power over us? I remember this story that my uncle told me once about the fisherman who went to the church and prayed, God, I haven't had a catch in months, a good catch. Would you just bless me, Lord? Bless me with an amazing catch of fish, and I will give you half of it. He said to God. That's the deal. Half of the catch to God. And so he went fishing, and he couldn't even pull his nets in. It was such a big catch of fish. And as he and the other fishermen were pulling this net in, this huge catch of fish, he remembered his promise to God. I was thinking, my goodness, I would have to give half of this. And now his little mind was contemplating what to do. And he said, I can't give half. I'll just give 5% of this. Surely God will understand. And suddenly the net broke and all the fish swam away back into the sea. And he cried out to God, God, I was only joking, man. And you see, sometimes we're like that. When we don't have, we make all these promises to God, and we say, God, I will be a blessing to you with whatever. Bless me, Lord. I will give my tithes. I will be faithful, Lord. I will bless your ministry, Lord. I will do all these things. I will bless others, Lord. And then we get blessed. My God often brings us and tests us with wealth. He tests us with good things in life, and then we go out to SM and all we can see is ourselves, and we start to buy the new phone and the new car, and then we forget, and then we come to church and we remove, cling, 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 drop a few little. I was talking to a friend once, and I asked him, do you give tithes? And he says, yes. How much did you? 10%. 10% of what? 10% of what I have left, he says, when I pay everything up. So he buys his groceries, he pays his bills, he buys stuff that they need, and then whatever he has left, he gives 10% of that. You see, God does not need our money. Does God need your money? Then why does He ask you to give? Because giving demonstrates His lordship in your life. God doesn't need your money. But you're giving honestly, just like what Brother Judge says, obediently giving what has been commanded you to give, you are demonstrating by faith that Jesus is Lord in your life and not money. Another friend of ours once said, we asked them, do you give tithes? Because they always have financial problems. And they said, we can't give tithes because we have too many commitments. And so we cannot give tithes. We have too many bills to pay, too many debts to pay. And says, well, God is greater than your debts and commitments. And if you just obey Him, He will prove faithful in your life. The problem that you just put your trust in your own philosophy and your own thinking, and you take all the matters into your own hands instead of just merely unconditionally obeying Him. Just unconditionally obey. Take your eyes off of the circumstances. You know, like Abraham. God told him, go and sacrifice your son. But then God had also promised him to be a father of many nations through this son Isaac. He didn't say, God, then what about the promise? What about the nations? What about being a father to many? You gave me this name Abraham, meaning father of many nations. Now you asked me to go and sacrifice. Abraham just obeyed, believing that God will do somehow what He promised.